There's a topic we really want to talk to you guys about, and that's networking and the importance of networking. What do you have for them, Devin?
Um, so networking is super important because you just never really know what networking can amount to. Networking could involve, becoming someone's friend or meeting someone at a barbershop, meeting someone while you're at a grocery store. Hey, I'm a professional. What are you getting into? Maybe you can start diversifying your sectors. Maybe you can get involved in technology, but you're in construction. So networking is super important for diversifying, creating passive income, and also creating lifetime um,
Friendship.
partnerships and friendships. Yeah. So like Chris and I networked through social media, and we had he had a great idea. I thought about the idea. I was like, hey, I don't mind doing that. I have an MBA, so I feel like I could be a great add to your show. Let's do it. Let's hop on this thing 50-50. So that was a networking tactic that we had. So networking is super important. And now we're, what, 2 months, 3 months strong on this podcast,
Yep.
YouTube channel. So I mean it's important. What do you think?
Yeah, man. I mean, when it comes to networking in my personal career, I mean, it's been everything. When you're in a position where you can see a job listing and through networking, you can say, "Oh, I know the hiring manager for this position. Let me reach out directly," because what overcomes what's on paper is somebody knowing the human. Because at the end of the day, and I'm talking about this from a career standpoint, right? People, you never know what you get with people, right? And I can tell you, I've been a hiring manager in my space for 6 years. I don't like surprises, and it's always been a pain when I had a surprise. But what I liked were recommendations from people that I know and I trusted,
Mm-hmm.
because usually those people that they recommended were good, upstanding people, and a lot of times the expectation level is, not everybody wants an Einstein or a grand wizard or something, right? What we want is actually somebody that's easy to work with and that can learn, that's willing to learn. So through networking, people get to know you, right? People get to know Young Equity Chris for who Young Equity Chris is, and somebody can sell me to other people on my soft skills. They can say, hey, he's a very dedicated person. He's just overall great person to talk to, energetic, full of life. You'll just love being around this guy. And that goes a long way. And now, furthermore, to a networking piece, you can't be afraid to talk to people. Like me, if I see somebody that's in a position that I like, I go introduce myself and I talk to them and I get to know them. And I don't just ask them like, "Oh, what did you do to get this position?" They're probably gonna tell you, "Oh, I went to this school and did this." No, I want to know about this person. What's this person's personality like? Are there things that I can inherit from their personality and incorporate into what I do so I can be better? And then also building meaningful relationships. I mean, there have been times I've networked with people, and just to keep that connection going, every once in a while I'll invite them out to lunch and I'll cover it because I value what they had in their head so much that I'm like, okay, I'm willing to put an investment down in that. I'm willing to pay for that. I'm willing to pay for the knowledge and skills that they have, and maybe some of that can transfer to me. And then a lot of times, even if they're not in your field, it's still good to network because you don't know who they know or who they may know. You know?
No, I agree with you. So some of the tactics that I use in networking, I take one program that I was on, and then I try to utilize that same like architect or contractor and bring them to a different program, and then not expecting anything in return, but say, hey, I know this person. They provide great detail oriented work, and then you put that person on, and then now they're involved in something that you're doing that's totally different from that other program that you're in. So I feel like when you put people on, you pay it forward. That's a great tactic for networking.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like I was talking with my barber, and he said, hey, he wanted to know about home buying, or he was looking to buy a home.
Mm-hmm.
I said, hey, I got some videos on that, but hey, I know a guy personally that would be great. He's a wealth of information, and yeah, I plugged in my video, of course.
Right.
But
Right.
I also said, hey, he's a professional. Talk to him, and I gave him his contact information. And the guy who I know that works, in the home loan industry, he was a guy. I mean, we have mutual friends, but he would give me advice for other ventures that I wanted to do at no cost. He just gave me free game.
Right.
And of course, I'm gonna whenever I have an opportunity to recommend him because I know he's good at what he does. I recommend him to people. And here's the thing, he's not paying me to go and promote him, right?
No.
So if I promote him to 20 people and one person gets a home from him, that's a win.
I agree. Yeah.
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 I mean, that's free advertisement, but that's the power of networking.
No, I agree. Another thing, business cards could be a thing of the past, but I would say, hey, print you out some business cards, even if you're a student. Have your phone number, what you do, your credentials, and then maybe email address on there. Get you a LinkedIn. These are great tools that you can have, right?
Yes.
So whenever I get a business card from like a golf tournament or some type of conference that I've been to, I go straight to LinkedIn. I look at the business card and I add that person on LinkedIn. And then I start having conversations on LinkedIn. I also send out an email. Hey, we met here. My name's Devin. I'm with Olivier Incorporated, XYZ. I give them the whole spiel. I tell them about the company that I work for and what we're into. And then we start having a conversation just so they can remember who I am. Another thing, there's a brilliant idea that this guy, I've used this before. There's an older gentleman in the public transportation industry. He goes around, he takes pictures of people with a nice camera, right? And he says, hey, get together. I'm going to take a picture of you. Here's my business card. I'm going to email you this picture. And then they have to start having that conversation because everybody likes pictures, right? They love it. Yeah, it was a good idea. So I started doing that whenever I'm at personal events. I'm like, and I don't know somebody, I brought my camera with me.
Yeah.
And then got their number. Here's your picture. I mean, there's a lot of tactics out there that could help you network and enhance your network.
Man, that's deep. That's
hey, that was a good tool. I was like, I see what he's doing. Like,
that makes sense.
Yeah.
I knew people that did that in a different way and flipped that into doing other things. But yeah, that's a great idea. But you touched on something, right?
Yeah.
Since business cards are a thing of the past, you know what the new business card is?
What's that?
Your Instagram.
Okay.
So learning to brand yourself and putting things. Well, so a lot of people think of social media as a fun tool, which it is, right? But it's also a business. And if you can brand yourself on your social media, where people come to it and they know what you're about, they know what you offer, and you appear to be doing well at what you do, that's a selling point. So your Instagram could be your business card because you can use your Instagram to express your personality. So remember those things I talked about? Being outgoing, easy to work with, blah, 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 professional. You can express all those things through your Instagram account. And so you can say, hey, do you have an Instagram? Yeah, follow me on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
And you can use your branding on Instagram to draw them in even more to you. That's worked for me in the past. I've had people I've met out in the world I added on Instagram that have just brought me opportunities just because they thought I was a good person to deal with. So just think about that, right? So before you go on your Instagram and you do unsavory things, I'll word it that way.
Sure.
Just think more about transforming your Instagram, taking those pictures down, and stop using it for short attention or instant gratification, and maybe utilizing it more from a business aspect and look at how you can use that to expand what you do. Even if you're a social worker, maybe gear your Instagram a little more towards you being that. And then when you meet somebody out in the world that may have a better social worker opportunity for you, they maybe not directly have a job at the moment, but they're at a company you may like to be with. You give them your Instagram, and then they see that you're consistently at it, working, you have a personality. 6 months, 8 months, when they have an opportunity, they're going to DM you and say, hey, I've come across this opportunity that might be perfect for you.
Man, I agree with that. And to piggyback off of what you're saying, employers look at Instagram, they look at Facebook, they want to see what kind of person you are. So if you have, a negative image out there in the world, they're going to say, well, maybe I should pass on this person.
Yeah.
So image is definitely important when you're applying for jobs or you're networking. So I definitely agree with that because I've heard where someone said, hey, I went on somebody's Instagram and they're a great candidate. not even just about what credentials they have or work experience. It's about who they were as a person. So
Yep.
I agree with that.
So moral of the story, man, that's just something to think about, And if you want us to have a conversation about personal branding, I'm no expert.
I'm definitely not an expert, but I have ideas. So.
We can give you the tips on what we do, and hopefully we can bring somebody on here that can talk about personal branding, because we will start having guests here pretty soon. Just with COVID, a little bit of a challenge, but we're going to get to that point for you. All right. So